He drew his longbow, held his breath, and fired. As 400,000 Allied soldiers retreat into chaos, one British officer stands on the sand, completely still. In his hands, not a rifle, not a machine gun, a medieval longbow. His name was Jack Churchill, and he was about to prove that sometimes the oldest weapons are the deadliest. Most soldiers are forged by war. Jack Churchill was forged by boredom. Dunkirk, 1940. Operation Dynamo, the largest military evacuation in history. As German forces closed in, most Allied soldiers had one goal: survive long enough to reach the boats. On that chaotic beach, as Stuka dive bombers screamed overhead and artillery exploded around him, Churchill spotted a German patrol 200 yards away. He drew his longbow, held his breath, and fired. The German sergeant dropped instantly. The first and possibly the last confirmed longbow kill in modern warfare. But Churchill wasn't done. As his unit prepared to board evacuation ships, Churchill did something that defied all military logic. He pulled out his bagpipes and began to play. While bullets flew and bombs fell, Mad Jack played Scottish war tunes on beaches of Dunkirk. Later he would say, any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed. His soldiers thought he was insane. His enemies thought he was terrifying. They both were right. After Dunkirk, Churchill was assigned to the newly formed Commandos, Britain's elite special forces. If the regular army thought he was crazy, the Commandos thought he was perfect. December 1941, Lofoten Islands, Norway. Churchill led Operation Archery, a daring raid behind enemy lines. His weapons, the same medieval arsenal that made him famous. His target, a German garrison that outnumbered his force 3-1. Churchill's unit approached under the cover of darkness. When they hit the German positions, it wasn't modern warfare. It was something from the Middle Ages itself. Churchill personally captured 42 German prisoners with a broadsword and his trusty longbow. The German commander later said that it was the most terrifying experience of his life. Churchill wasn't just a warrior, he was a philosopher of war. To him, combat wasn't about technology, it wasn't about firepower, it was about the human spirit. Frightfulness is the weapon of the weak, he once said. Any officer worth his salt can win with superior numbers and better equipment. In Yugoslavia, in 1944, he led a mission so dangerous that even the partisans called it suicide, while Churchill called it another Tuesday. May 1944, Yugoslavia. After days of fighting overwhelming German forces, Churchill's luck finally ran out. He was captured. But even as a prisoner, Mad Jack remained Mad Jack. Churchill escaped not once, but twice. The first time, he was recaptured just miles from the Baltic Sea after walking 115 miles. The second time, he made it all the way to Italy before the war ended. The German guards later admitted they had never encountered a prisoner quite like him. When Germany surrendered in May 1944, most soldiers celebrated. Churchill was disappointed. If it wasn't for those damn Yanks, he said, we would have kept the war going for another 10 years. But the war in the Pacific was still raging, and Churchill wanted in. He was transferred to Burma, ready to bring his medieval arsenal to the fight against Japan. Then, August 1945, Hiroshima and Nagasaki happened. The war had ended. Churchill's response? Now I'll never know what it's like to fight with a longbow against someone with a machine gun.